All right, did the Houtzdale Days 5K. Finished second overall, but like first in my age because they only did like top overall. In like 19 and a half, 1940 range. Course was a little long, like 3-3-ish. They stated that actually beforehand, before I even came, that it was a couple tenths longer. So that's why the time's a little bit shittier. But I also slowed down a lot second half of the race. It's a newer course this year from what it was previously. I would say it's easier. It's more flat. Before you started up a hill, I would say it was probably like a 100-foot climb just to like start. And now it's not nearly as bad. You still go uphill, but it's more of like a gradual, like 50-foot climb or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look at the actual stats. Then you go down and get some pretty quick couple tenths like for the first mile before you hit this sort of rail trail thing. It's sort of overgrown. I guess it's still a rail trail, or it just might be like some dike or something like that through the town. I have no idea. I want to call it a shitty rail trail that's overgrown. You hit that for like a mile, and then you swing back through a neighborhood to finish up before hitting like the fire hall area again. It's nothing too exciting. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what to say, but I mean, the people were nice and stuff like that. Early on, it was decent competition till they all fell back. The kid who I scouted, the kid who won the last couple years, I saw he was going to be there. I thought it might be a good battle if I had actually like good day, but I worked today, so I was a little tired on the drive, so I wasn't really feeling it too much per se. So I definitely ran slower because I worked and was tired than I normally would have. Still don't think I would have caught the kid. He's a pretty cool kid, but would have gave him a better battle. Stuck with him for like the first mile and a half, 2-ish miles. Basically, once we ditched the rail trail area, I dropped back because he was maybe 10 seconds ahead of me, and I was like, I'm not even catching him. I don't feel like even putting forth the effort. And I looked behind me, I probably had 30 seconds on third. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna hang it up a little bit and just hang on the second, and that's what I did. Not burn up all my energy in my legs for the next couple of days races. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know. Yeah, early on it was like a little bit of rolling hills for the rail trail, then that long flat rail trail itself. Got kind of hot because it was a 7 p.m. race. A little humid out as well. But it was just the first, I'd say 3 or 4 tenths of the race. There were some kids hanging with me. I passed them really quick, and then I could feel them behind me, but I could also feel them dropping back. I know they went out too fast, so I wasn't really too concerned with them because I just figured eventually it was going to thin out and I'd at least be top 3. But I don't know. This might be the 3rd time I've came to this race. It's like an hour and a half. Houtzdale is kind of like an awkward spot from where I live. So like I said, like an hour and a half drive. And it's a Friday evening race, so it's kind of out of the way a little bit for me to get to. But it's for the fire company. And there's always a bunch of vendors and stuff because it's like a little fireman festival thing. So there's always good food afterwards. I had some loaded fries today with what was on them? Brisket, nacho cheese, and barbecue sauce. So did get some good food today. I don't know, the crowd's just like cheering for everybody. Well, I would say most people waited for everybody to finish. Like they were all cheering them, and then even the awards, most people stuck around, even though the awards took like 45 minutes to do, which kind of drug out. But there was music playing from the festival, so it was kind of a pain in the ass to try to hear, at least where I was standing. But I don't know, I guess I'm glad I went. Got one race under my belt for the weekend. The goal for the week's 2 at least, so I had to come today, at least get one in. I don't know, really not much else to say, because it was just basically me at first for that mile and a half till I dropped back, and then there was nobody behind me. So there's really not much to talk about, like position wise or what happened during the race. They had 2 water stops, one on each side of the rail trail, and then there was one person that had a sprinkler set up on the trail for you to run through because it was hot. I avoided that. I actually went into the grass a little bit because it was really starting to make a puddle in the rail trail, and I was like, well, I'm not getting my feet wet and running through that, get my shoes muddy, so I just went around. But it was a nice gesture. Any other time I probably would have went through it. I did grab water on that far end aid station. Took one little sip, but I just basically wanted to cool myself off. But there was a bunch of ice in it, and I didn't realize that. So it didn't really work because the ice just like flew off me. I was expecting it to just be water. I don't know. I really didn't decide to even come to this race until 5 o'clock. So I had to really just grab clothes and jet up when I finally decided to come up. Had to get gas on the way too because I was running low. I don't know, that's really about it. I know when we were going through the neighborhood like that 2 miles-ish into the race, just running on like back road style, I was getting a little bit hot and wanting the race to be over, and I was like, is it really going to be 3-3 or is it going to be like 3-5? So that was running through my head a little bit, because I wasn't really sure, since they said it was going to be 3-3, but you know how that goes sometimes. But first place, I did use him a little bit once we hit the rail trail. I zoned in on him to close the gap a little bit, which I did. I actually did close the gap, but he was just running so smooth, and I could tell that I know the pace that I was running and how my legs felt. I was like, there's no way you're going to keep up. So again, I wasn't going to put forth the effort and burn myself up. And my mouth did feel a little dry a couple of times today. So I had to close my mouth and get like some spit going to like moisten it up a little bit. I don't know. I think that's about it now. Oh, there was a what was cool, there was a blind guy who did the race today. He came in under an hour, so that was pretty neat to see. I think that was a pretty good time because he was just walking. So that was awesome. They have like a fireman division, so if you carry like turnout gear, you have a chance. If you come in first, I think it's $250 for your fire company, so that's cool. One of these years I want to do that. I know a couple races do it. I should have did it this year. I should have talked to the fire company, but again, I didn't know I was doing it till today, or else I would have came up and tried to get some money for the New Florence firemen. But again, it's mostly like the firemen who do it are like local fire companies out that way, so it's kind of, don't want to be an asshole and take money away from like a local fire company that a sponsor put up, you know, bring it down. So it's one of those things as well. Sort of keeps me from doing it. But one of these days I just want to try it. just for shits and giggles, or giggles and shits, whatever you might want to do. So there's that. That's my crappy race recap. I feel like I could have knocked 30 seconds to 45 off if I kept leaving the hammer down, but again, there was just, he was so far ahead and there was nobody behind me. It just, Oh, and you do finish on like an uphill, like you did in like the past years. It just doesn't feel as bad because you don't got that big hill to start, so it's really not too bad, but still a little bit of an incline. You make that L back towards like the Fireman Festival thing, Houtzdale days, which had a pretty decent crowd. But I guess I'd come back again if I get the chance. At least race that kid, and then eat some good food and support the firemen. Because again, they're all really nice people. And it's always a nice supportive crowd for the runners. There is a lot of people like watching the race, and I could hear people clapping. And even early on in the race, there was a bunch of group of kids, I guess, like high school, watching their high school friends run the race. So there's a little bit of a town and support for it. So that's always cool to see, like a town come out and support a race like that. So props to the town. But I guess I'm going to wrap it up. Don't have anything else to say.